Today, we are going to look into the life of a male concubine, which is a facet of the Roman Empire that is both fascinating and little explored. Join us as we investigate the roles, privileges, and challenges played by these mysterious characters in a fascinating society. We hope you can join us, and let's travel back in time to the land of ancient Rome. Before we can begin to fathom the life of a male concubine during the time of the Roman Empire, we need to first understand the role that they played and the place that they held in society. A concubine was a male friend or lover who was typically involved in a romantic relationship with a wealthy or powerful Roman citizen outside of the context of marriage. The connection between a male concubine and his patron was one that was less formal and did not enjoy the same legal protections as a typical marriage does, since it was not recognized as a valid union under the law. The life of a male concubine was rarely discussed and was cloaked in mystery, in contrast to the prevalence of female concubines in ancient times. The life of a male concubine presented its inhabitants with both advantages and difficulties. Finding oneself in the good graces of a wealthy and powerful patron could pave the way to a life filled with comfort and luxury. It was common practice for male concubines to reside in lavish mansions or villas that were supplied to them by their benefactors. They were decked with elegant attire, jewelry, and other material comforts, which demonstrated their status as preferred companions. Additionally, they were provided with a variety of material comforts. Concubines' quality of life was often greatly improved as a result of the valuable gifts and financial support they frequently got from their masters. One facet of their life that was fraught with complication and nuance was the social standing of male concubines under the Roman Empire. They were able to have access to certain benefits and possibilities due to the fact that they were in a relationship with a wealthy and prominent patron. Nevertheless, this also caused them to face problems and stigma from members of society. Although they were not officially recognized as husbands, the connection between male concubines and their patrons frequently resembled that of a loving partner. Male concubines maintained a distinct role within the household of their patrons. They stood apart from the other household staff because of the level of familiarity and trust they enjoyed with the people whose homes they worked in. It is possible that a male concubine will come to be regarded as the patron's favorite or his closest confidant. This will, in turn, grant the male concubine increased power and authority inside the home. They had the opportunity to engage in family conversations and decision-making processes, as well as have a voice in topics pertaining to the household. Because of their connection to a powerful and affluent patron, male concubines were able to gain access to a variety of exclusive social circles. They were invited to events of high social standing, like as banquets and receptions, where significant members of Roman society congregated. Because of their access to high-ranking officials, legislators, and intellectuals, they were able to take advantage of one-of-a-kind networking opportunities that would have been unavailable to them otherwise. Beyond the confines of their sexual relationship, a male concubine and their patron may develop an emotional and personal bond with one another. They frequently played an important part in the mental health and pleasure of the people who frequented their establishment. In certain situations, male concubines played the role of counselors or confidants to their patrons, giving them with assistance and guidance in a variety of facets of their lives. In the course of pursuing intellectual and artistic interests, male concubines were occasionally found to be encouraged and supported by the supporters of those endeavors. Some patrons also provided financial support for their concubines' artistic endeavors so that they may advance their education in fields such as philosophy, literature, or the arts. This support may have led to the male concubine gaining prominence and acclaim within the artistic and intellectual circles of ancient Rome. In spite of the fact that there was the possibility of receiving advantages, the social standing of male concubines was not without its difficulties. As was discussed before, male concubines had to contend with the negative connotations associated with being in relationships with people of the same sexual orientation. Even while relationships between people of the same sexual orientation were prevalent in ancient Rome, the degree to which the public acknowledged and accepted such relationships varied greatly. Those who are participating in these kinds of unions run the risk of being treated to discrimination, derision, or scorn, particularly from the more conservative members of society. The social standing of a male concubine was inextricably bound up with the favor that their patron bestowed upon them. Maintaining a solid and cordial relationship with their patron was necessary in order for them to keep their rich lifestyle and high social standing. Any change in the patron's sentiments or tastes could result in a change in the male concubine's fortunes, which could potentially leave them exposed and unsure about their future. Being a male concubine was advantageous to a man's social standing if he was associated with a prominent patron. They were able to join a select group of social circles and interact with high-ranking officials, which opened doors for them that would have been closed to them otherwise. Because of this access, male concubines had the potential to gain exclusive views, information, and contacts that may be useful in navigating the complex political landscape of Roman society. However, life as a male concubine did not come without its share of difficulties and exposed me to certain risks. The legal protections and rights that come with official weddings were not extended to male concubines because they were considered to be informal partners. Because of this, they were susceptible to being mistreated or exploited by the customers who patronized their business because they had no legal remedy to rectify any injustices that might arise as a result of the relationship. In the event that a patron dies or has a change of heart, a male concubine can find themselves in a position where they no longer have financial assistance or a place to reside, placing them in a situation that is unclear and unstable. Roman culture frequently frowned upon the lifestyle of a male concubine since it was seen to be an aberration from the conventional gender roles. The public acknowledgement of same-sex relationships in ancient Rome could be received with criticism and rejection, despite the fact that same-sex relationships were not unusual in ancient Rome. Roman social standards placed an emphasis on the necessity of procreation through regular marriages. As a result, male concubines were not within the sphere of public approval despite the prevalence of partnerships between people of the same sexual orientation. When examining the connection between male concubines and their patrons, it is vital to investigate the power dynamics as well as the mechanics of consent. Some male concubines may have deliberately accepted these unions, while others may have been forced into such arrangements owing to a variety of causes, including as financial difficulties or societal pressures. It is essential to note that the power relations between a wealthy patron and a male concubine might be complicated, and that true consent may not have always been there. This is because true consent may not have always been present. The patron was ultimately responsible for the male concubine's health, as well as the manner in which he was treated. Even though they did not have a formal legal relationship with their partner, it was their responsibility to make sure that their companion was treated with respect and dignity at all times. The degree to which patrons fulfilled this task ranged widely, and the historical records show that male concubines were subjected to a wide variety of treatment. The practice of keeping male concubines in ancient Rome has left a considerable cultural imprint, which may be seen reflected in a variety of forms of artistic expression and literary works. Roman literature and art occasionally represented male concubines, which provided insights into the roles that they played and how Roman society perceived them. These depictions offer us glimmers of the intricate and varied web of relationships that existed in ancient Rome. The acceptance of same-sex partnerships, as well as people's perceptions of them, have gone through significant shifts over the course of history as society standards have developed. The contemporary world is committed to investigating and welcoming a wide variety of forms of love and connection. We are encouraged to gain a better understanding of the many different types of human relationships that have existed throughout history when we recognize the historical existence of male concubines. As we come to the end of our voyage into the life of a male concubine in the Roman Empire, we are reminded of the complexity of ancient societies and the various ways in which individuals managed their relationships and the power dynamics within those societies. I'll leave you with a grin. Always keep in mind that history is a veritable treasury full of unique storylines, and that delving into these annals enables us to acquire a more profound comprehension of the human experiences that we all share. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Until we meet again, we hope you will continue to indulge your natural inquisitiveness and revel in the awe-inspiring phenomena of both the past and the present. Goodbye.